Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today we're going to take on an Okuma Classic 200L. And this one was one of the groups of reels that came in from the saltwater fishing club that I belong to. And I just got started. I took the nut cap off to expose the handle. We're going to remove the side plates on this. Try and figure out what's going on with this reel. The complaint is no anti-reverse, and sure enough it doesn't have an anti-reverse. So we'll show you how to take the reel apart, how it's made, and how to service the reel in addition to fixing that anti-reverse issue. So we've just removed the nut cap, the handle nut, the handle, and there's a little tension washer that came off on the back end of the handle as well. Something happened to this reel. We've got a broken arm on the star adjuster, so something might have got whacked along the way. But knowing this reel, it's kind of unusual that you would lose the anti-reverse. So we're gonna see what's going on there, and again we'll show you how to service the whole reel and make it work. Before I go too far, if you enjoy these kinds of videos, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel. And if you do subscribe to my channel, please use that notification button to see when I'm posting the videos. So I have some recaps on my website, and I've just kind of found out haphazardly that a lot of folks are going to my website to see my videos, which is wonderful. It's a kind of a directive that sends you back over to YouTube, but you're missing them because I don't keep the website up as much as I do the daily or frequent postings on YouTube. And if you subscribe to YouTube, hit that notification button, well, you're going to see them all. You won't have to search my my site, and you'll certainly see all the new and latest. All right, there's 4 screws that hold the side plate on. We should be able to remove that side plate now. And this is one of those, I forget what they call it, the MS systems to that. This reel, kind of interesting in a lot of regards. It's a classic, but it does have a little bit more of a balance to it. I'm kind of curious. I just saw the back end of this come off the spool. That's fine. That's just the drive gear for the line guide. I'm quite sure which way that goes in. Let's find out. Yeah, it goes in the other way. But I'm looking underneath here at where that piece is, and it looks like the spring has come off. So we have our anti-reverse there. I think we're going to have to do a little bit more research here, but let's open it up and see. So this is a classic design. You're going to have 2 screws that are holding the bridge in place. This one holds the anti-reverse as well, and this one is the one that's going to hold the main gear. So it doesn't matter which way you take them out. And this is just a shield, kind of interestingly enough. I guess its design is to keep the spool kind of centered. All right, well, you want to put the handle on when you go to remove this center one. That's because most of the time this one has a kind of a Loctite cool blue adjuster, and if you're not holding that other side of the gear sleeve there, you're not going to have much luck getting it out easily. All right, so this is it. Now notice, you should take pictures. This one is a flathead screw that came out of this side. The one with the washer is in the center, and we have a rounded screw on this side. Always makes me wonder a little bit when folks are doing this from a manufacturing standpoint, why they change all the screws over in that. It doesn't seem to lend itself to logic, but who knows. Also notice when you're doing this that the center shaft on this reel right here has 2 flat sides to it. That's not round, and when you go to reinstall this, you're going to need to make sure that the flat sides line up with the bridge plate, otherwise it won't go. When I take all of my pieces and parts off the reel, they go into a parts tray. I use a fast food container for that. And we should be able to pull up on this now. We'll see what's going on with the anti-reverse. Well, I'm not quite sure what happened here. This is kind of interesting. What I'm thinking is, let's just see if we can put this this back together. Well, that should work. So I'm thinking maybe it just got behind the gearing there. This is a floater, right? So it's always tough to do, but that's the way the anti-reverse should work. All right, let's clean it up. This comes out, pivots. Just leave that over on the side. There's a screw that's holding your jack assembly in place, so let's take that off. And this one, if I remember, is a little bit of a balancing act. And again, I wonder when they put these together if they don't do it a different way than I do it, because I'm always having a little trouble with that shield over there, the one that we took off. And it wouldn't surprise me if somebody may have had this reel apart, tried to service it, and had it kind of go bad, and then I got it. So, all right, notice, take a picture here. Notice a couple of things. You have springs that belong under the yoke as opposed to on top of it. You have a yoke that has two slope sides and a slotted side that accepts the spool, and on the back end you have the pinion gear, and then we can push this through. And probably should have removed those two springs right away to get that done. And now we can go ahead and clean the case up. The case seems very clean. I wouldn't worry too much on how that's sitting. But something's gone on, and I believe it's probably the misalignment on this dog here. And we'll deal with that in a moment. Okay, we want to remove the shim stack and the main washer. Underneath that main washer, you're going to find the Teflon washer. That's fine. You're going to have a beveled washer there, which is a tension washer for the star adjuster. And then we should have a 6-drag set, and I believe these are felt washers. They are felt washers. Felt washers you need to keep lubricated, and oil is the best way to do that. So we just remove that. We're going to clean up underneath. Check the teeth on the main gear. Make sure that they're clear, that they're not obstructed in any way. Make sure that they're uniform, that they're not chipped or cracked or somehow bent out of shape. And I think that it's important to do that here because, as we noted when we looked at it, the handle has an arm that's off of it. Well, if that's the case, then maybe there was some trauma going on in the reel. That's how you reset the main gear after you've greased it. I'm going to take one of the washers now, and I prefer on felt washers to oil them. Now we should have 5 more left here. So we have 2 keyed washers. They have the flat sides. And we have 1 eared washer. That's the one in the middle. And of course we already put one in, so it's going to go like this next. It's going to use the next metal one. Then the felt washer, then the eared washer in the middle. Felt washer and eared washer on top. That's how you're going to complete this stack. So let's go ahead and do that then. These have to be clean. Make sure that they're clean. If they're not clean, use a paper towel or something to wipe them off. If you need to get aggressive, you can use a little bit of steel wool or something. This one has the ears pointing on a little bit of a bend that goes down. The next washer comes up. And we have the top washer. And as you saw, we had a series of washers. They're called bell washers. There's 2 of them. And we have some smaller washers. That's it. And then we have a bushing and a plastic collar. That is your gear stack for this reel. And I've had issues in the past with dealing with this particular reel. And what I've found is that if I go in and I lock that down with the handle, the star adjuster, I'm in much better shape when I go to reinstall. I'm going to leave my dog out to the side. I'm going to go get those 2 springs and they go under my yoke. We're going to take that yoke off now. notice that you have two pieces of it. You have a slope side and a flat side. The slope side gets the piece that's going to accept the spool. This is a little bit of reverse of some of the ones that you may see, so just be aware of that. A lot of times the slope side will go to the back of a reel. In this case, it goes to the front of the reel. Get a good amount of grease onto the pinion gear, and we can set that over the top. Again, the piece that's going to accept the spool is facing out. And now we can push down on that, and we can load the main gear assembly here. And as I mentioned, I like to take the star adjuster now to kind of hold this in place, because this is going to float a lot. And this is just one way I've found that it works easier. Just kind of get that down where it belongs. And I have a lot more success doing it that way. All right, I just got to reset that, the yoke and jack. Here's your anti-reverse. This is the one that failed, right? So we're going to just put that up on the post where it belongs. And that looks like the way it goes. And I think that's what happened. I think when this reel was put together the last time, I think what happened was that got trapped on that steel piece there. All right, remember what we said. This one needs to be square in order to get the bridge over it. There's two flat sides here. I think we want to work by putting that anti-reverse piece in. There's a little bit of dexterity required on this. This is not an easy set here. Just like that. Got one piece here before we can load the bridge on. Let's go ahead and get the trip mechanism, the jack. Let's put that in place. There's that little screw that went in there with it. Me and these little screws always have fun. So if you have any questions on this reel or any reel in particular, if you're working on one, maybe you're stuck, maybe you have a question about it, then please leave it in the comments section. I will try to answer those questions for you. All right, this should flip down. Push everything down. I want to reset this anti-reverse. I need to bring this up now. And now with the sides, we want to square that up again, the flat sides. And we should be able to load and have everything snap in place now. That looks about right. We had the two flat screws. Well, we have the three different screws actually. We have a flat screw here. So I'm still a little bit curious as to how the reel lost its anti-reverse. I can only think that maybe that star adjuster was all the way pulled out and somehow that got more flex. And that caused it? I'm not sure. Alright, that's that one, and now we should be able to get this one through. Tighten this up. Okay, just finished tightening that one down here. We'll give it a test. We'll see if we got the anti-reverse. Make sure that they're all tight. Now, if for some reason this anti-reverse is a little wedged, you can always come in from behind here. Maybe use a little pick or something. Kind of grab it and pull it out. But let's see how we did. Oh, I'm hearing it. Yeah, we have the anti-reverse again. There you go. That's what we were looking for. All right, so on our spool then, we have just a bushing here. And we have the back end of this, which should be this click assembly. All you need to do is a little bit of grease. We already cleaned the inside of the other piece of the channel here. So let's go ahead and put that on. Put that back in, make sure that this thing seats properly. And that we're turning the line guide, which we are. Now we can go ahead and bring the front end of this in. You want to get a little bit of grease where it's going to run through your pinion gear. And I'm using Pen Precision Real Grease for this. I really don't care which greases you use. I just care that you use fishing wheel grease. Alright, 4 screws. When I do this, I like to alternate the positions, kind of north, south, east, west. So let's go back over here. I don't like to do it in a circle. I want to get the tension on the case to be even. Still like to know why I'm missing an arm on this star adjuster. What the story is there. That's my constant muse. I always wonder if a reel could talk, what it would say. And one more of these on this side. So you have to be careful on these when you go to set that bridge. There's a lot of moving parts there. And again, I've found that the best thing to do is kind of put this assembly on before you start wrestling with the pieces in the final alignment. It will hold your main gear in place, and it'll give you a whole lot more in terms of leverage for that reel. All right, that goes on. We have our handle nut goes on. And then these were put on in a traditional lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, or counterclockwise to remove, clockwise to tighten. And then we can put this back on. And when you go to put this back on, you have 2 options usually with these caps. One of them is to have a 90-degree perpendicular to the face of the nut. The other is to have the point of the nut facing that hole. Most of the time it will work out perfectly, just like it did there, if you follow one of those 2 approaches. You don't have to over-tighten the nut too much, but you do need to make sure it's tight. I've done a lot of pen reels where that gear sleeve has been rounded out because that nut wasn't tight. All right, let's see how we did then. So, we got one more thing to do here. You want to make sure that your pawl is serviced. Remove that. If you tap down, you can get the pawl out. This looks like a new pawl. So the points are nice and tight. There's no dirt on the shoulders of it. That's what you want to inspect for. Once you do that, you can put that back into the carrier. Go ahead and put a drop of oil on that and a drop of oil onto the worm gear. Now that's sitting proud right now, which means that the points aren't in the groove. So what I like to do is hold my finger on it, kind of give it a turn, and you'll feel that it seats and that it's below the shoulder now, so it's set properly. So grab your pawl cap then, or your line guide cap. Let's go ahead and put that on. And we'll just tighten that down a turn or 2. Let's give it a try. So the first thing we're obviously trying for, we want to make sure that our drags are nice and tight. I'll make sure that our line guide spins. And we have an not an instant, but an anti-reverse. And then let's go ahead and put it in free spool. Make sure that the reel's free spooling. Tighten it back up. I don't think this model does not have the automatic read trip. All right, that's it. That's your Okuma Classic 200L. It had an anti-reverse issue. We can remove that tag because now it's got an anti-reverse. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe. To all of our first responders and essential personnel, thank you for everything it is that you do to keep us safe. And to everyone, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Good luck fishing. And please stay watching. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing you all well.